is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, January 15, and this is 2024, and this is episode 123. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and in English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, let's start. I want to share my handwerk perikelen, that's the Dutch word for crafty adventures, from last week with you. I have a lot to tell. It was a bit of a finished object week. I didn't expect that, but it was really satisfying. But today I want to share a little bit more about my self-made Hinterland dress. I want to show you my husband's cardigan, which is finally finished. And I have some little projects which I also finished last week, and I want to share them with you. So, it's the perfect day for filming a podcast episode because it's snowing. It's not snowing quite often in the Netherlands, but today it is, and it's not really cold, so I don't think it will stay. But there is a little bit of a white layer, and it's just looking quite cozy. I had to put on my light because it was quite dark, and I don't know, my light has so many options. I don't like it when things have too many options, because which one is right? I just only need the right option, and I never really looked good which option I have to choose, so maybe the light is a little bit weird, but when I don't use the light, the quality of my video is lower. So yeah, it is what it is. Okay, let's start with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Hiedra headband by Fibertails by Lerke. It is absolutely one of my favorite headbands. I wear it all the time. It's nice and warm and cozy around my head, and it keeps my head where I want to have it. No, not my head. My head always runs away. No, my hair. I have curly hair and I really want to have bangs, but my curls, they rather don't want to be bangs. They want to get curled, but in combination with a headband, it's always, it works out quite good. My bangs are quite long right now, so they're a little bit hidden. I have an appointment with the hairdresser later this week, so next week I will look totally different. No. But I really recommend this pattern. It's so much fun, and yeah, it's absolutely one of my favorites. I'm also wearing my Felix cardigan, another favorite. I really love this cardigan. It's a pattern by Christoffers, and I knitted it in lead Lopi in the color Murky, and I really love to have such basic garments, which always works out. No matter what, no matter how you're feeling, no matter where you have to go, they always work out. And there are quite some sweaters and other garments that one day I put them on and they are hard jumping, and the other day I put them on and I think, oh no. But it's good to have a few garments that are always good, and this is definitely one of them. My brown Hinterland dress is also definitely one of them. That's nice to have in your wardrobe. No matter how you're feeling, you have always nice clothes to wear. Also when you are a hormonal disaster, or not feeling well, or whatever, or feeling good, it always works out, so that's nice. I don't know if my new dress is one of them. I didn't wear it so much in so different circumstances that I can judge about that part, but it's making me really happy. It's also the Hinterland dress, and I made my own Hinterland dress. That's quite a victory. It was also quite a journey. It was also quite a process, because making a dress, sewing a dress, is not something I did before for myself. I could sew. I already learned how to do that, and I made quite some skirts for my little girls when for my girls when they were little. But my sewing machine and Lisa and me, we are not our relationship is quite fragile. It's I don't know. And also the other very big part is my Miss Perfect. She's always involved in my crafting life, and we are actually quite good friends. Most of the time, she's really helping me creating beautiful stuff. But there are also moments that she's too hard for me. And I think my children went to a Waldorf school, and I was a crafting teacher at a Waldorf school. And at the Waldorf school, I learned about the balance between your heart, your head, and your hands. It's really something which is very important when you are creating. When your heart, your head, and your hands are in balance, you are flowing. You come in the flow, and things work out, and you have a desire or an idea, and it's from your heart, and your head and your hands are working very close together to realize that idea, and everybody's happy. So that's really a nice piece of state in which you want to be as a crafter. But also quite often there's a disbalance. I have a very strong head. So what quite often happens is that I have a desire from my heart, and then it goes to my head. And instead of thinking how my hands could realize that desire, my head is thinking, oh no, that's too hard. No, you can't do it. No, that's difficult. That's not ideal. No, we're not gonna do it. And it's thinking it down. There's nothing happening because my desire goes to my head and it stays there, and my head's only saying no, and my hands are doing nothing. So there's absolutely no balance, and there's also not happening anything. And I really learned by my crocheting and knitting, by doing the creative stuff, I really learned recognizing that process in me. And also, it is not a problem that you can't do anything. No, everything. That you can't do everything. But when you really have a desire from your heart and you don't do it, then I think you have a problem. There are a lot of things in life I can't do, but I absolutely have not a problem with it because I don't want to do them. I don't want to run a marathon. I don't want to climb a mountain. I don't want to make a closet, or I don't want to be a gardener. So there's not the desire from my heart, so it's not a problem that I can't do it. But I really wanted to learn to knit. And my head was telling me, no, you can't do it. It's too difficult. You've tried several times. It didn't work out. Don't try again. But the desire didn't disappear. It stayed. And lucky me, it stayed because after a long time, I did find a way in which my heart could convince my head, it's really important that we learn it. And then after a long time, my head said, okay, then I will help you. And my head went looking for ways that I could learn knitting and that it would work out for me. And it told my head, told my hands how to do it. And we did it all together. And now Sarah's a happy knitter. And it was really interesting for me to learn and actually to recognize that process and also to learn how it works for me. So with the confidence that I did that with my knitting, I thought, oh, now I can do everything. And then I wanted to sew a dress. That was exactly the same process, and it was so hard. This time I knew how it worked, but I couldn't change it. It was so hard. My head was so strong. My head was telling me so much not helping thoughts. Oh, there's not a perfect fabric. Oh, you can't find the perfect fabric. Don't do it. Don't want to sew the dress, and it's too hard for you. And it was making me feeling so unwell. And of course, I know maybe it sounds a bit dramatic, but maybe I am a bit dramatic. But it really felt, I felt literally unwell because of the strong thoughts. Oh, but I still want to do it. So finally I found a fabric, a checked fabric, gingham fabric. In Dutch we say ruitjes. Everybody told me that's not the perfect fabric for your first dress, Sarah. I know. But maybe, yeah, it was not my goal to make straight checkers. I don't know if that's the word. I organized the Hinterland make-along. I still am organizing it with Jessica, with my Hinterland dress heroes. She made them for me. We are organizing it on Instagram, and I decided I want to make a Hinterland dress and I want to wear it on Christmas Day. And the week before Christmas Day I got sick. Not really sick, I didn't have a fever or something, but I had a bad cough and I was so tired. I had very low energy, so I could knit, but sewing a dress, doing something difficult, I was not in the right state for it. It costs a lot of energy, my head was telling. And then there was one day left and I was only feeling feeling worse than better. And it was the first day of my period and I am a hormonal disaster by then and my belly hurt. But it was the only day I could work on my dress if I want to have it finished on Christmas Day. So I did, and I made all the mistakes and it went all wrong. But I had a dress at the end and I did wear it on Christmas Day, and the second Christmas Day as we celebrate in the Netherlands. And I wear it and it was quite funny because while I'm wearing it, all the mistakes are not so obvious as when I was sewing it. And of course they are still there. It's all wonky. My whole dress is wonky, but I did do it. It was quite interesting because Jessica made some modifications to the neckline and she made a little video of it on on YouTube. And I didn't get it. It was so hard. My brain, it was an error in my brain. I didn't get it. And then I realized, okay, I learn by doing. I'm a person who learns by doing. Just sew the dress. Make mistakes, do it. And I did make the mistakes. But then I understand. It's so important for me to realize that I have to do it. Things have to go to my hands, through my hands, to understand how the construction works. So I did do it. I will put out my cardigan and I will show you my dress. I've made the 3/4 sleeve length, and this is not how it's meant to be, but it's so cold otherwise. I'm not a 3/4 sleeve person, so I'm not really sure why I chose this length. I don't know. Maybe in spring it's nice to have this length, so I won't change it yet. But I can imagine I will make the sleeves shorter, so I can wear my knitwear with short sleeves over it. This is just a bit of a weird length to me. And my next dress, yes, you hear it good, my next dress I will make with long sleeves. But it's really, I went down a size. Jessica made quite some modifications to the size matching my body. But I also had an error with making a pattern from that. It just didn't work out. And then I thought, okay, she made it a little bit narrower. Why I just don't go down a size? So I did, and it worked out. I fit in it, and it's okay, I guess. So I made a dress with pockets, and it's all wonky, and I can show you. Maybe I don't want to be in my underwear. I can show you. It's all wonky here, not straight, but I'm absolutely okay with. Even the seams at the side are not straight. But the only day I could work on my dress, I was feeling so bad. I had a headache. My head hurt it, and my belly hurt it, and I was so tired. But I thought I just want to do the dress, and of course maybe I was a little bit hard to myself, but also it was important to just do it. If you really have a desire, do it, and not only think about it, but and think about why you won't do it, but just do it. And do it wrong, doesn't matter, but just do it. and that's my way. I think it would not work for everybody, but I am a doer with a very strong head. That's not the good construction. But I did it, and I'm very happy. I definitely will make another one, a black one. Also, not with the placket, with the buttons at the front. I really like the buttons, but it's harder to sew. But also, I have quite some garments which are a little bit tighter, and when I'm wearing it, you can see the buttons under it. It's a bit bubbling, and I don't want that. And also when I'm wearing, I will put on my cardigan again because it's quite cold. Also when I'm wearing a cardigan, I like to wear my cardigans open with only the upper button closed. And when there is also another bottom line here, it's just a little bit too much buttons. So I like to have some more buttonless dresses in my wardrobe. Look, this is the disadvantage. Someone teach me the word. Disadvantage for 3/4 sleeves. They are snugging up in my elbow when I'm putting something over it, and I don't like it. Oh, it's snowing quite hard again. Okay, so Sarah's happy. I didn't order fabric for the second dress. I must confess, December and January are quite expensive months. So I was thinking, okay, shall I order fabric right now, or maybe I just have to wait? Just it's also nice to save a little bit extra money for when you really need it, and I don't really need the dress. It's an extra, it's a luxury. So I didn't order it yet, but I will make a black linen dress, and I'm really hoping that it works out better, that it will go easier every time I make a dress, because I really love to have one with a print, and there are other lovely prints, and it gives my why I'm struggling with the word. It gives my knitted wardrobe an extra different look, and I really love that. So I'm proud and I'm happy, and I'm wearing the dress. It's a little bit thin linen, so it was quite cold here. I put it on special for the episode, but I prefer to wear my thicker linen dresses. But I am quite sure that when it will be a little bit warmer, I will wear it a lot. So that was my Hinterland journey. Still not ended, because there will be more. Which is ended is my cardigan for my husband. That was also quite a journey. I'm so proud. I'm so happy, and he is happy. That's more important. This is my husband's cardigan, and I'm working on it for quite a while. Let me do a little introduction. Maybe you've heard me talking about that earlier, but my husband doesn't like wool. We, in a lot of ways, we are the opposite of each other. I think maybe we are such a good match a good match because of that. My husband doesn't love the feeling of wool, especially the itchy wool. It itches quite soon, in my opinion. I think this can't be itchy, but he thinks it is. And he loves to wear those fleece jackets. I hate fleece. I can't. If you like to wear fleece, don't be offense. No, I don't be. I don't know. It's all good. It's all good. Everybody should wear what he or she really wants. But I can't understand why anybody wants to wear a plastic layer when you also can wear a woolly layer. I'm absolutely a woolly layer lover. So, he's always wearing those fleece cardigans. And they are not, it's not that the fit or the shape is ugly, it's just the idea. I knitted quite some socks, a pair of socks for my husband. That's the only thing I knit for him. I think the beginning of the spring or at the end of the winter last year, he asked me, would you want to knit me a cardigan? And then I fell off my chair. What are you asking me? And I thought he had a colleague with a knit. Yeah, I don't know if it was hand knitted. I think it was store knitted cardigan over a blouse, and he was really loving the style. And he also could use the warm layer when he went to office. So he asked, and we went to the yarn store for some lovely yarn, and he chose for perikelen. No, I chose for perikelen. He chose the color. I chose the yarn because I said I want to knit in good yarn, and what if you think it's itchy? And he said, but I will wear a blouse under it or a fleece jacket, something with a higher neck, so it won't touch my skin. So that's okay. So he chose the color charcoal. I think that's a hard word. I don't know if I pronounce it good. 1088, and it's a lovely dark gray. And I started knitting, and I started with the pattern Greeton. It was a pattern by the West Strand sisters, and I think it's a free pattern now, but I did pay money for it, and I bought a bundle of patterns because they also was a women's version and some other versions. But I didn't like the pattern, and I think, if I am correct, they offer their patterns for free right now because they can't do pattern. How do you say it? Pattern. You can't answer questions. I can't find the right word. But it was a bottom-up cardigan, a lovely cardigan in a broken rib stitch with a raglan. And it was a bit of an outdoor cardigan with that look. And I wanted to do some modifications because it had a hole for the thumb, so you could put it over your hands, and a bit of a round back. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to make an outdoor cardigan, but an office cardigan. So I started when we were on summer holiday with the sleeves, and because it was a bottom-up construction, and then with the bottom. But it didn't work out several times. I did swatch and I did get gauge, but it was way too wide for my husband. And I measured on a cardigan with a really nice fit, a fleece cardigan, I must admit, with a really good fit. So I knew what he would like. We decided together. It didn't work out several times, and I was so not motivated anymore. And I realized that I am not a bottom-up knitter. I'm a top-down knitter. I really prefer the top-down construction because this is the part where it's happening. Quite often when you have split it for the sleeves, there's not happening a lot anymore. So when you are knitting bottom up, you have to knit all the way around, and then there is a little bit of modeling and shaping. But when you have to do so much knitting without being sure if the fit is right. And when I am knitting top down, I can put it on all the time and check and eventually modificate, do some more increases or some less. For me, it gives a little bit more options to make to create the perfect fit. So I couldn't find. I didn't want to make that pattern anymore. It's looking great. It's looking great, and I couldn't find another pattern. And then I found a pattern by Petite Knit, the Zipper Sweater Light Man, because how was it? Oh yeah, I really loved the construction of the collar, and I own the pattern of the Lanark by Rebecca from the Creabea podcast, and I suggested, shall I use that pattern, but then with the broken rib stitch, because he really loves that. But he, that's a drop shoulder pattern, and he really loved the raglan detail. So then I went looking for something similar with a raglan, and I found the Petite Knit pattern, but that was a sweater and all in stockinette. but I thought I could adjust it quite easily, and it works out pretty good. So I did the measurements again from his favorite fleece jacket, and I had to knit the smallest size because we didn't want so much positive ease as that pattern suggested. So I knitted the smallest size, and instead of a sweater, I made a cardigan. So I knit all back and forth, and I did a broken rib stitch instead of stockinette stitch, and it was quite easy to make those modifications. I really love the construction of the collar. It's really, yeah, let me put it on. It's really, I need it in my life too. I think it solves my high neckline problem with some designs, because I can make a round yoke and this, I guess, but I really, the cardigan is way too big for me, but I really love the feeling of this. It's double. I love the construction. I won't go in detail because it's not my pattern, so it's a paid pattern, but I really loved it. So it was nice working. It was quite a big cardigan. I don't have a big size my own, so I'm not used to work on bigger projects, and it's quite a luxury. I realize because how bigger your size is, how bigger your garments are, how more time consuming it is, and I really realized it when I was making this one. What shall I tell more? It worked out pretty good. I really loved the raglan detail. The fit was really good, and exactly what I hoped for we could do. We could do a lot of fitting moments, and I must confess, I think I shared it before. It was not always only for the fit, but it was also a little heart jumping moment for me to see my husband in the hand knitted cardigan. So it was making me really happy. I must say, in the beginning, he was a bit insecure about the color and the itchiness and the model, and he was looking into the mirror, and I saw that look in his eyes, that look of doubt. And my husband can be very particular, no, very, I won't say funny word, but I can't find a funny word. He can be very... he wants to have the perfect fit, and he can be very annoying. No, that's not a funny word. When something doesn't have the good fit, he doesn't want it. So his blouses, he has found a blouse in a model which he really likes the fit, and he has it in 15 or 20 colors. And he loves to have a good fit and the same in all the different colors. So I saw that doubted look in his eyes, and I said, no, we are not going there because I'm not going with you. And I said, you can choose to like it or not, and I want you to choose to like it anyway. I was very hard, I can be. And he said, okay. And I said, I want you to do as if you like it very much. And when the garment is finished and you really don't like it, it's also okay. Then I give it to my father or our son of another man in my life. No, I really want to give it to my own husband, to my own man. But if he really, I don't want him to feel guilty when he really doesn't like it. But not the doubts when I was knitting, because it was really not motivating me. So he got me, and he was looking very happy every time he fitted his garment. And I must say, when we were at this point, when the construction is, then the fit is more obvious and clear how it will be, and he was happy, and yeah, it was okay. So he's very happy with it. Then the zipper, that was quite a struggle, and as you can see, it's still a bit wonky and bubbly, but it's absolutely okay. the original pattern is with only a zipper until here, and then it's worked in around as a sweater, but I knitted back and forth, and I needed a long zipper. And I was in a wolwinkel is a Dutch word. I was in a yarn store here, and I couldn't find the right one, and then I ordered online. I got some suggestions on Instagram, and I wanted a metal zipper. And in the first place, we chose quite a big zipper, but when I was ordering at the last moment, I thought, oh, maybe I also put the size below this one on my chart. Do you say it on my chart? Because I'm not sure how it will look, and otherwise you have to pay the posting costs, the sending costs several times, and I'm very happy that I did, because this one, which what I didn't think of was the weight of a metal zipper. It weighs quite a lot, I guess. So we did choose the smaller one, and at my first try I started at the top, and the 80 centimeters. Yeah, it was a little bit longer than the knitting was, but I could stretch out the knitting a little bit, and then it was okay. And I started at the top and I did it, but when the zipper was in it, the knitting stretched in back. And I thought, okay, when I block it again, I already had blocked this cardigan. When I block it again and I pin it, will it work out? And then I learned from some knitting friends that you always have to start at the bottom with a cardigan. I did start at the top because I followed the instruction video, but it was for a sweater and not for a cardigan. So I cut out, no, not really cut out, ripped out. I put out the zipper and I tried it again, and now I started at the bottom and I very gently put it to the fabric. That's not really the sentence I mean. And I had a little bit left at the top, and I didn't cut it off, but I folded to the inside of the fabric. And now you can feel it right here, but it's not a problem. And I didn't want to cut off because I thought, oh, maybe it's not right, and I have to do it again, and then it's gone. But I think it's okay. It's a bit wobbly. I did a little bit of wet blocking, a local wet blocking, and pin it down for one night. But maybe when I will do a deep good block, it will stretch out. But when he's wearing, it's okay. Yeah. I did sew it in by hand because it was no option. I would do that on the sewing machine because of our fragile relationship. Frustration is just around the corner, and I did it by hand and it went very good, and I really love the inside, the construction, how you make a little facing. You hardly can see it in this color and this light, but there's a little hair. This little line of fabric, the zipper is hidden under it, and it's really looking very, very neat, and I really love it. So yeah, we made pictures yesterday, and I shared them on my Instagram, and I will share them at the end of this episode, so you can see a little bit more of my husband. Not all, he's mine. But yeah, he's really happy with his cardigan, and it was also I had to the stitches when they came too close to the zipper, they get stuck. So it was quite a precious task to to keep the distance between the stitches and the zipper. And there was one place that didn't work out, but I could, with a little sewing thread, I could do it by hand. So now it really works out pretty good, and he did wear it. We had a family day last Saturday, and it was in a big barn there was a fireplace, but it was quite cold. So he put on his cardigan, and I said, you can put your fleece jacket under it. And he said, am I allowed to? Of course, yeah. But it was really looking good, and it was really making him happy. He wanted to wear it to office today, but yeah, I said, I'm sorry, I need it. You just have to keep priorities, I guess. But really happy. It is the zipper sweater light man with a little bit of Sarah sauce, and that is really the thing I want to do this year. The patterns that are already existing I want to make, and I want to put a little bit of Sarah sauce over it, so I can use my own creativity to make it just heart jumping to me. And yeah, it was really special to make this garment for my husband. It's really very lovely to put a lot of love and a little bit of frustration every now and then in a garment you make, a warm woolly layer for someone who's such an important person in your life. I love my husband very much, so seeing him in a beautiful woolly handmade garden I made myself is heart jumping for me. To me, and I hope it's also heart jumping for him, that he can feel all the love I put in it. So it was really nice. And yeah, my father messaged me and he said, I want the same cardigan. I thought, oh no, not again such a big knitting, but we shall see. Maybe my mother will make him one. I hope. But I will definitely make the same construction for myself. Also with a zipper. I really need a zipped cardigan in my life right now. So I already planned my next item for myself. Yeah, I think I can modificate it so I can add a zipper to it. Yeah. Okay. Then it was my plan last Tuesday to dive into my new work in progress, the Arctic Sweater Light. No, the Arctic Light sweater by Kutovakika. This sweater will be for my little girl, my youngest girl, my 14-year-old, and I really was looking forward to work on this one, but just in time I realized that the timing wasn't perfect because one of the kids was celebrating his birthday last Wednesday, and we were celebrating it with friends and family, and I had to make pie and soup and do all the things you have to do when you prepare a birthday party. So I thought it's not a good idea to start a new work in progress which you can't stop knitting at because I had to do so many other things. So I thought just keep it. I finished a lot of other projects I had laying around, and that was really satisfying. Yesterday I did finish the border for the neckline, and I knit it all together, so it's a folded neckline, and I really love the feeling. I placed my stitch markers. Those are the removable stitch markers, and I will replace them by my by those ones. But tomorrow I can dive into the sweater, and I'm very looking forward to it. But I did finish quite some stuff, and it was not really my plan, but as you maybe know, I really love to have all kinds of projects laying all around in every space of the house, so I can pick up and knit or crochet every minute when I'm waiting for the washing machine, when I'm chatting on the phone, when whatever. There's always something around. It happened too often that I had some unexpected knitting time, and my sweater was just at the point that I couldn't pick it up and knit because there I was at a difficult point, or it was too big, or whatever. And now I always have all those little work socks and hats and other things, and it really works out pretty good for me. And they are not, it's not very important they were finished. They don't have deadlines or someone waiting for them or something. But last week I realized that it's really giving me a good feeling when I finish a project, as if the circle is round again. And that was really nice and refreshing. So yeah, I did finish quite a lot of those projects. And the first one is this hat. It's this is a very old vintage hat. My father bought it for me in a vintage shop quite some years ago, and it's perfect to show a hat no, not a head, a head on the head. This is my third example, my third classic ribbed head by Purl Soho. I really love that pattern right now. It's so easy. It's just a mindless knit. It isn't blocked yet. I made it in a leftover from the yarn my daughter used for her sweater. I never showed it in the podcast because there's never time. I have always too much to tell about. But she knitted it with Wool Addict's memory. It was gifted to me by Lang Yarns, and she had a little bit of a leftover, and I turned it into a head. I really love the crown decreases, but you just knit in the round for quite some time, and then you do the decreases. But it's such a mindless knitting until here, and I knitted 23 centimeters. I think 25 would have been better. It's okay, or it's okay. I knitted the kit size. I'm a loose knitter on 3mm needles. I'm a loose knitter. I don't like it when heads are too loose. So with every head I knitted by now, I thought, okay, do the kit size. And when it's too small, I gave it to my little niece. I give it to my little niece, but they are always perfect, the size. So this one was 2. I did cast on a new one yesterday. I will show it later. It's laying there, but there's no time today. But for that one, I used, my yarn was a little bit thinner, so I did cast on an adult small size, but smaller needles. So I will block it, and it will go in my gift box. I would love to give all my family members a hand knitted hat with Christmas on Christmas 2024. That would be lovely. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if it will happen. A hat or hand knitted socks or whatever, that we all have something. Okay, then I finished my Legwarmers. I just realized they are not similar. There's quite some difference between the length. I don't really understand, because I knit those with, those were already Legwarmers. I knit those a few years ago with Dutch yarn from Texel, from one of the islands. And it was very nice, but they were so stretched out that they were bungling around my ankles. It didn't work out, so I ripped them out and re-knitted them, and it worked out pretty good. But the yarn I had, I divided in 2. Yeah, with the same amount of grams, but yeah, I don't know what happened. It doesn't matter, because my Legwarmers are snuggle up around my ankles. I was at a knit night when I was finishing them, and I ran out of yarn. I was playing Yarn Chicken and I lost. And of course I could rip out one round and do it again, but I decided that I just would grab another piece of yarn, dark brown. I love brown, so brown is always a good idea, and it really reminds me of a nice evening and of the power of imperfection. I do love perfect things, but I also do love imperfect things. And then I had a little crochet work. Oh, that was also an interesting process. I made a pile of new pot holders. I didn't bring them, the old ones. We use crochet pot holders all the time. You put your pens on when we are having dinner. I don't know. I think it always works. It worked the same everywhere, but I'm not sure. I realize right now. When we have dinner, quite often we put the pens, most of the time, on the table, on the dinner table. We always eat at the dinner table, and the pens are on the table. The pots. Is pens Dutch word? In English word? The pots are on the table. And to protect the table for the hot pots, you put a pot holder on it, under it. I did crochet quite some bright pot holders several years ago, but they don't get clean in a washing machine anymore. They are just used too much. So I wanted new ones, and I found a pattern on Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and it's called hexagon puff coaster. Do you call it coasters? I don't know. I will link it down below. And it was with the puff stitch, and I used a very thick cotton yarn. It was very deep stash yarn, and from a Dutch company, Huisje van Katoen. And because of the puff stitch and quite a tight, I used my 5mm hook size. It's quite a tight gauge, and that's exactly what I needed for pot holders. So they are quite thick. Something interesting happened. I was making one of those pot holders last Saturday night, and I was quite exhausted after a very fun but busy day. And I realized when I was weaving in my yarn ends that I made a mistake. I made oh gosh, I wanted to check that. This is a hexagon. Is 6 a hexagon and 5? 4 is a square, 5. Not a pentagon, that's more, I guess. It's a pentagon? I don't know. No, it has 5 corners instead of 6. I made a mistake. In the beginning, I only did 5 puff stitches in the magic ring instead of 6. And I was so tired, I was just crocheting and I didn't realize. But when I realized, I also immediately knew, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Of course, it's a detail, but I wanted to have similar pot holders and not one different shape. So I was really feeling, oh, I don't want to rip out and recrochet the whole thing. I don't want to. And then I had a very clever idea. I love fooling myself every now and then. It works pretty good. So I thought, I can fool myself. I don't have to rip out this thing. I had enough yarn. It only works when you have enough yarn. I just can crochet my 4th example. And then when I finished my 4th, I can rip out the mistaken one. And it was really, my bad feeling disappeared in a minute. And I thought, oh yeah, I can crochet. I don't have to recrochet. I can crochet a new one. And I was really surprised by the effect of fooling yourself. It is so weird that just by telling yourself something different, thinking something different, your whole energy can change. And it's a superpower when you have that, don't you think? So I didn't rip it out because I want to show it to you, but it was such an easy solution. Instead of, oh, I thought, oh, yeah, and only my thoughts made the difference. Yeah. It's really fun. I will rip it out right now. No, not right now. Tonight. And with the leftover, I want to knit. Yeah, the things you can grab your warm pans, your warm pots with. Those are for under the pots, and you also can use them to grab your pots, so you won't burn your hands. We use granny squares for that now, and every now and then I hear someone screaming in the kitchen, "Ow! Why do we have pot holders with holes in it?" And I know they are right. It's not really clever to use granny squares to protect your hands from burning on a hot pot, but it's looking so nice. So I will knit on a tight gauge better pot holders. Okay, did I finish? Oh yes, I finished something else. This is the last thing, a little cacti. I really love crocheting cacti, and I do it for years right now. And there was a little problem because I gave them all away. I had crocheted so much cacti, but I didn't own one myself, so I started working on my own cacti collection, and every now and then I want to make some. And for me, crocheting cacti is most of the time playing. Most of the time I do not use a pattern, I just play, and that's really fun and nice. I made this from a leftover yarn. I think it was a long yarns ball from the time I worked for them. I had a lot of several single skeins. It's something with linen in it, a perfect cacti color, and I I just crocheted a circle, and at different sizes I started to stop increasing, so you go down, and I really love it. It's a leftover one because it's filled with leftover yarn ends, and you can see it shines a bit through, and yeah, it would be looking also the, oh, there's a word for it. I forgot how you call this. I learned it, but I don't know it anymore. But I don't mind. I think it's really inspiring that you can create something nice, not a pot, but something from leftovers. So the shining through leftovers reminds me of that. So I will add it to my collection, and it's making me very happy. Oh yeah, I have something else laying on my desk. These little tiny things. In this time of the year, when winter is there for a time, and it was also quite cold, I always get very dry lips and hands, and I have two really lovely things for that. And this one, I don't know, maybe when you are living, I don't know, it's from the Hickories. It was gifted to me by Jonna. Jonna from the Kim and Jonna podcast, Knitting with Kim and Jonna podcast. She was so sweet to me last year, and she sent me all those nice and beautiful things, yarn and candles, and also this little lip balsam with beeswax and lavender oil and lanolin, and I really love it. The smell is, oh, it's smelling so good. And I put it on my lips and also on my hands, and it's so good, so good. So I don't know, the Hickories was a farm she lives in close to New York. So if you are living there, then you are lucky, and otherwise not. But I just wanted to say that it's making so happy. There's also a Dutch company, again on Texel, with the island where I have the yarn from. And it's called the Noordkroon, and it's a company. They also make balsam with lanolin, and I really love it. Here is also a little bit of peppermint. It was gifted to me by the yarn shop. I bought the perikelen, but it's really nice to have it on your lips, and even it's a little bit more, I don't know, it doesn't disappear on your hands. Your hands get a bit sticky when you put it on your hands, but when you have really dry hands, it's really wonderful. So I love to put it on my lips and everywhere, and it's working very good. I also put it in my hair when I don't know where to leave it. Yeah, okay, so I think I told you all. Oh, it was a bit close to the candle. That would be a disaster, that my cardigan is burning while I'm talking. that you see all the smoke and there's burning. It's yeah, it was a little bit close to it. Yeah, that would be a clumsy thing. Okay, yeah, that was it for today. I did cast on quite some new things yesterday. You can check my Ravelry page if you're curious. They are not all on it yet, but I will tell more about it later. And it was really nice to finish so many things last week, and it's also giving me a really good crafting energy to start all those new projects for this week. My crafting energy is always good, but now it's even better. So I'm really looking forward to a lot of knitting and crochet time this week. Yeah, and I think I can talk about it a lot in my next episode. I also want to thank all the people who I how do you say it, who started being a member on my Hard Jumping Friday part of the YouTube channel. It's a new part, you pay for it, and it was so much fun to make my first Hard Jumping Friday video. I really had a lot of fun answering your questions and sharing some more things about my knitting and crochet life and all your sweet words. It was really heart jumping to me. And if you think one episode a week is not enough, you are more than welcome there. And if you think one episode a week is more than enough, it's also okay. I will completely understand, but you are more than welcome there, and I will put a link down below. And I'm very happy to have so many people there. It feels so warm and cozy and really heart jumping to me. So thank you for being there. And also thank you for being here. I hope you have a very nice week with enough heart jumping moments, and I will see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.